This video will talk about OData connectivity for HANA server, specifically for ERPsim. My name is Tim Rutherford, and this is my website, thecoursewebsite.com. I have a textbook, and this is showing the second edition. The third edition will be coming out soon, or depending on when you're watching this, it's already out, and maybe even you're even using it. This website does have additional information for students and instructors, including links to the YouTube videos talking about strategy and information. Hey, look, that's me. And information about me as well. I have, to kind of demonstrate what's going on with this, a couple of teams that I've set up already that are running. We're actually in round 2, day 17. I have two different teams, Team J, Team K. J is actually running the half kilogram products. You can see we had some sales there. So it's just doing the half kilogram muesli, and Team K is doing the 1 kilogram. Still plenty of production orders to go, so we'll be able to get some live data as we're going through this. Nothing else exciting going on in here to show you, because I'm going to show you the exciting stuff within the HANA server. All right, so the first thing I want to show you, and before I even show you this, I should probably talk about analytics in general. I have some thoughts about analytics that I don't know if everyone else agrees with, but for me, analytics incorporates data modeling, which I think Excel does a good job with, being so visual, and then there's the visualization. So they're both in analytics. When I hear people say things like analytics, I think more about Tableau, but then people say analytics and they mean data modeling, but then there's also analytics and they mean data mining. So this will be just, I'll talk about data modeling and visualization today. And I'll be using Excel for the data modeling because it's so visual. I could use R, but R's kind of boring. It gets the right stuff. It's interesting, but there's nothing beats looking at an Excel data model. And Tableau, I could easily be using SAP Lumira for the visualization. I could even be using Excel for it. But I'm going to go between these two. Feel free to apply this information to whatever it is that you're using for whatever the analytics is you're planning on doing. This is just kind of a general overview of how to get that data into something else. So I have a spreadsheet here that I have already created, and the spreadsheet will use information from the HANA server to automatically figure out what's going on with production. But in order to even get started with that, we need to have the data. So how do we get the data from the HANA server? Well, even before you do that, I recommend that you go to the learning portal, the ERPsim learning portal. So if you are a student watching this, this is the site that you went to pay for the ERPsim, the simulation itself. You may not have been there for a while. Go back, log in. It's an email address and password. Once you are there, click on, I use the extended manufacturing game in my classes, and then you'll see all the different resources. And down at the bottom, at least that's how it is here, is the reference guide ERPsim for SAP HANA. And when you click on that, it is the most up-to-date information. So I'm doing this September 25th, 2018. And this is what it looks like. Depending on when you go there, it might look a little different. I just talked to them yesterday, and they said they're actively working on updating this to be a little bit more user-friendly. This is the overall guide for getting to the data from HANA, and then this is the specific information depending on the tool that you're using. Now realize that you'll be going from this to this, to this, to this, to this, going back and forth. It'll say things like, now figure out which data view you want. Now go do this. So you're kind of going back and forth. So they're working on a way of streamlining it. I don't know what that would be. I'm not sure how easy that would be. I'm also quite curious to see how Google Sheets is going to be doing this. But whatever it is that you're doing, I highly recommend that you download this information, get the most up to date. Now this says, as an example, Microsoft Excel 2013 and above. The instructions have screenshots that aren't showing the latest version, but it's close enough. This is showing some information that's close enough. So you're going to have to use some brain power there. So make sure you have the latest information for connecting to the HANA server. And in addition, you will need information from your UCC. Now, if you are an instructor, You will either be requesting this yourself or working through your UA coordinator to get this. One way or another, you need to get this from the UCC. This is UWM that I'm using. If you are a student, your instructor will need to give this to you. There is no way you can do this without this information. And what we need is the ERPsim OData URLs for this piece. In addition, you'll need the specific username and password for your server and your client and your company code. Again, if you are a student, you'll get it from your instructor. If you're an instructor, you get it from your UCC or your UA coordinator. So the first part here is this URI Builder, and I'm going to go ahead and go right to it. The information I need is right there, but I want to show you this URI Builder down here. It has different ways of getting the data, and then it also has the different data views as well. And that's going to come in handy in a little bit. But right now I only need this, so I'm going to copy and paste. I'm going to paste it in a moment. I'm going to copy it now. So I have that, and then we'll take a look at my spreadsheet. So again, this is a spreadsheet that works dynamically with the general ledger account balances. So it's going to take the machinery and equipment general ledger account, get its current balance, and then it updates capacity. It will do the same thing for setup time. Cash is going to be pulled through, and then it's also going to calculate net income. I'm skipping over that debt load there because that is actually coming from here, and this actually is pulling the information from the general ledger accounts as well. Now this will update in real time once I connect the data to it. So that means that I can do a company valuation in real time mid-round. I don't have to wait for the results to have an idea of what my company valuation will be. So this pulls the two different current assets and the two different liabilities, creates the debt load, the net debt, dynamically figures out what the discount rate is, figures out how many rounds are completed, your cumulative net income, annualizes the profit, and then figures out the company valuation. If you have no idea what that means, I suggest you go and watch my other video about quantifying strategies, where I go through what this all is. There's actually a whole separate video about company valuation. This is based off of the production improvements quantifying that I do in that video as well. So this is kind of based off of that, but it's using kind of dynamic information to create things. Once we get it in place, we can do a little bit of sensitivity analysis, and we can kind of make some decisions about where to set our assets. So to get that information, because I already had this spreadsheet set up, I have a tab already created with the data, and it's already ready for it. Meaning that these are looking for GL accounts, row I, for the machinery and equipment GL account, and then it's going to get the information from row P, which is the amount that has been invested into it. So let's pull the data. This is where I want it to be. So I am going to go into data, and again, yours may look a little different. This is the latest and greatest Office 365 64-bit edition. Get data from other sources, from OData feed. So this is where I post that URI under URL. And Excel is going to give me a selection screen here, essentially. So this is all the different data views. I want financials posting. I think the financials work best for data modeling. Mine is set to go to the Power Query editor as soon as it does that. I don't know what yours will do. In one way or another, what you want to be able to do is say, this is where I want my data. And for me, it's this close and load. And what I want is close and load to. And that's me specifically telling it where I want the data to go, because I want it in that special spreadsheet. So I want the table, I want a tabular view in an existing worksheet starting at A1. And there it is, it's pulled the data. And again, we're in day 17 right now, so there's a lot of data in there. Now when I switch back over here, it will query all of the different GL entries, and it's pulling in the information that I need. So it's looked at that I have 24 million in machinery and equipment, and it knows that that means that I have capacity of 24,000. So there have not been any upgrades here. Setup time, there's nothing in production improvement expenses, Setup time is still at 8 hours. Cash is telling me what I have on hand right now, and this might be a decision point for me. Where do I want to allocate my assets? What can I do to increase my company valuation? The debt load I'll talk about in a second, and net income is also taken from the GL account balances. Company valuation, here we go. In real time, I'm getting my company valuation estimate. So it's pulling in. I don't have any AP right now because I've already paid down. I actually bought enough to do production through 3 rounds, so my warehouse capacity has been exceeded. But that means I've also paid my vendor, so that doesn't have a value. But accounts receivable, I'm still making sales. I still have the cash, so this is my net debt. So again, it's the liabilities minus the assets, so I'm down to just under 5 million. This is figuring out with a VLOOKUP here. With the VLOOKUP, it's looking at this net debt table, which is also in the video, and it's figuring out the discount rate. I've completed 1.8 rounds at this point, so it's figuring out my cumulative net income, annualizing it, and then I have the company valuation. We'll see at the end of round 2 what this comes out to. All right, so looking at this, pulling this information in, and this is where I think Excel ends up doing quite well. You can do this in R, but the visualization isn't there. So I'm a fan of using Excel. I know it's whatever, based on 70s technology, but I like the visualization side of a data model. So it is literally pulling in this information to figure out what we can do. And we can do things like, I have 2 million in cash. What if I were to drop 1 million into capacity? What is that going to do to my company valuation? What if I were to put 1 million into 10 million? That's going to change a lot. Oh, that's not what I want. Don't you love how Excel just assumes you want to go to the help that takes forever? Okay, so if I put 1 million in here, this is what, based on the fact that I have 44 days remaining, I'm 1.8 rounds in, this capacity, if I were to do 1 million in setup time right now, this is what my company valuation could be, presuming I have €1 profit per product that I'm selling. So this is a nice thing, being able to do this sensitivity analysis right in the middle of the round. We have 2 million in cash. What do we do with it? So of course you want to have some cash on hand. So I also have it set up to calculate safety cash. It's figuring out the cash requirements for the round, which is based on fixed cost and variable cost. And then it figures out how much cash we need, how much cash we have. So we have about 1,085,000 we can invest somewhere. We can do loan repayment. We can see how that would change things. And that dynamically affects the net debt, the debt load as well. So that is all good stuff. And this is what I mean by data modeling. A fixed point in time, we're getting a snapshot of what's happening, and we're figuring out what we can do with it. Now I'm going to refresh this, set this. I should have done this before. I'm setting it for refreshing every 1 minute. It is no doubt at the end of the round now. Oh, I have it paused. Even better. I'm thinking. So I now have this set to update every 1 minute. This is the raw data coming through, and we can kind of see here that the company valuation. So let's do this. Actually, that one's probably a good one. GL accounts. So it's saying, look at the GL accounts tab here. Go to column I and look for accounts payable domestic. If it's there, so it's a sum if statement, take the value from column R. So let's go over, take a look at that. Column I is GL account name, and just to see what we're looking for here. So if it finds this, then it's going to go over to column R and pull that value. Now, if you think about it from an accounting perspective, we have debits and credits, and some are positive, some are negative. Some the values end up being weird. Because the way I have this set up in the company valuation, I need an absolute value here. I am taking the amount and the inverse of the amount. because the amount, because it's a credit, ends up being negative. If I were to take the actual general ledger account amount, it would be kind of the opposite of what it is. So I need the inverse of it. So I only have two different transactions because I bought everything up front. So this 875,000. Wow, that was a lot. I can't believe what I'm just going to check what my warehouse is. 875,952 was what I had on my accounts payable for a while, and then once I paid it down, it was negative here. From an accounting perspective, it was actually negative here and positive here. So for me, the way this is set up, I want the whole number, so I chose the inverse of it. I could use the amount. This is absolute, so it's always positive, and this is amount for balance sheet and amount for income statement. So depending on which one you're going for and what kind of value you want to see, you can choose one of these. Now this is not sitting in SAP right now in these different views. This is something that at ERPsim, they created this view. They're dynamically massaging this data to give this to you, so you have some options for it. Okay, I'm going to click continue. We'll see how long it takes to get started here. And we should start seeing some things update in real time. So most likely it's going to be the AR cache. There we go. So it is automatically updating. This would be something if you're thinking about roles within a team, you have multiple people, different people looking at different things. Creating something like this so you can always check and see what's going on. All the different general ledger accounts are in there for expenses. So you might be watching something like warehouse expenses. I should check out what mine is at this point, having that huge order on round one, day one. Whatever it is you might want to be looking at, you can, sorry, we just got a notification. There we go. We should have an update here. You can check and see what's going on with whatever different account it is, make a dashboard to be able to watch what's happening within your company. Again, this is not talking about sales, not about which products are selling or anything like that, or what the prices are from your vendors. It's not necessarily following the production. There we go, another update. I'm not doing anything. This is automatically updating every 1 minute. So this is how we get the real-time data with OData. So Excel itself is going out and pulling the data from the S4 server. And I don't have to do anything. All I had to do was build the spreadsheet. It's also giving me real-time data here, so you can see my remaining cash has gone up. Now would be a decision point for asset allocation. Where am I going to put it? We have 42 days remaining. What's going to be the best place for me to put my cash? And what I'm hoping to do is keep talking until we get to the end of the round so I can show you the company valuation. So my estimated company valuation right now is 54 million. We're going to end up, because it's day 20, we're going to end up paying a number of our expenses, which is going to take a hit on the net income and also our cash. So that's undoubtedly going to drop. But right now we know, there we go, 49,000. It's funny, it's gone through before we've gotten the results here. So 49,407,000. So it is actually pulling the correct information. So it is literally, my Excel spreadsheet is going to the HANA server and pulling this information dynamically, and it's giving the exact same company valuation here. So net income, 967,560. And then the instructor view here, I can show you the banker. So cash, 2,276,000, receivables, 969,695, and then the loan. And there's nothing showing up in accounts payable right now. So it is actually pulling that information, it's dynamically calculating that, and it's coming up with a company valuation to go along with it, which I think is pretty cool. So there you go. So that is data modeling from my perspective. I'm going to go ahead and close this because it does use a lot of memory. And if I'm going to switch over to Tableau, I think I want to close this out. So again, this video is not a how-to for creating spreadsheets. If you're not sure how to use Excel, I can't help you with that. Watch another video for that. It's not a how-to for Tableau as well. So remember that I told you that Tableau likes to have the data specified. So we're going to go back to this, and what we're going to do is actually use the builder. So I'm going to use XML for the format for the data to come through. And because it's visualization, I'm not going to use one of these. I think these are good for data models. I'm going to go down into the sales information. So I'm going to use the Z Market report and just the default here. So within Tableau, we're going to connect to a server, an OData. Go and use K here. And this is showing me the information that's within the Z Market report. And I'm just going to go right to my sheet. So we can see this information here and just start throwing stuff in here. This is how easy it is to work with Tableau. There we go. So we can see, look at how quickly I pulled data in from the server, and I can see that 1 kilogram original muesli in the South is hot stuff. It's what people are wanting. That's amazing. I think that it was just that easy to pull out. North, south, west. These are the different materials, and we can already see what's happening there. Let's see, what other kind of stuff can we quickly... I'm not even paying attention to what's happening, what I'm doing here. Let's see. Value? Value's probably not going to give us anything important here because the value is going to be price specific, so the half kilogram is definitely going to be lower in volume than 1 kilogram. But that tells you something, actually, looking at these, that the 1 kilogram has a higher price. Yeah, it has a higher price, but these are even beating it. So you can kind of see which the products are popular at this point. All right, so that's the market report. I'm just quickly going through these. I'm going to save that, and we're going to get different data this time. This time I'm going to get the sales data. And we'll ask you for the URL just like within Excel before. And this is going to be Team K, so it's going to be specific to the 1 kilogram. There we go. Go right to my worksheets. And, lots of interesting stuff in here. Let's see. Material description, I do not have this planned out beforehand. So I don't really have. Let's see, contribution margin. What kind of stuff do we get here? Contribution margin. We go, and we only have the 6 products. They're only doing the 1 kilogram here. Let's see, contribution margin, and let's do something else exciting. Distribution channel. There we go. So the 1 kilogram blueberry muesli is more popular in distribution channel 12. Now it looks like distribution channel 10 isn't buying more than 12 in this one. Let's see if we can get some interesting things in here. We get some pies. That's not exciting. Heat map. Ooh, heat maps are fun. So this is the contribution for each one. I'm going to do a heat map in here. Let's do red to green. All right. We know we're most profitable. We're definitely more profitable in distribution channel 12, which is no surprise if you think through how this all works. The cost is the same. The price is higher in distribution channel 12. So we definitely know that we're going to make more money in distribution channel 12. It looks like the most profitable product is the 1 kilogram strawberry here, then followed by this. So in thinking about these things, it looks like we're more profitable than the 1 kilogram in distribution channel 12. Let's see if we can get some oohs and ahs here. Come on. Here we go. I think I'm killing it. Oh, there we go. We have a map of Germany here, seeing which one's most profitable. Oh, that's by distribution channel. Okay. So distribution channel 10 is blue, 12 is the orange. So I'm not going to change those. So this is actually showing us where our sales... Whoa, that's not what I wanted. No, don't do that. Undo. So this is showing us where our sales are taking place. It's getting bigger based on the number of sales in each city, which is pretty cool. This is all being dynamically created. And if I were to turn the simulation back on, I don't really need to. You'll be able to see this update in real time. So these are the kinds of things that you can do within Tableau. And again, I think the visualization in real time, while you're actually playing the game, Tableau is going to be good for visualizing sales kind of stuff. I don't think it would be as good for the general ledger information in the game. And actually, why don't we pull that up here? So thinking about this from a visualization perspective, you have things like net income, and maybe you can watch your net income as you're kind of going along. Where is my, there it is. So maybe you can watch your net income as you're moving along through this. You can set it up so you're visualizing net income going up, going down. That's not necessarily going to be as helpful, I think, during the game as some of the other things that you could be looking at, like sales. But it may be something that you do after the fact. So after the game is over, you go back and I cannot find my login screen. There it is. So after the game is over, going back and taking a look at those kinds of things. Maybe visualizing some of those financial statements after the fact to be able to figure out when things turned around for you or what may have happened with it. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing here. So GL account name, let's do a filter. What's something, let's do the bank cash account balance. And sim step. This is not turning into what I'm wanting it to be. Oh, I pulled from the wrong spot. Bank cash account. And then the balance, which one do I want for that? What am I missing? Oh, it's down here. All right, so we can see our the cash account balance going up and down based on the step, which day it is. So we get a whole bunch of cash, and this is probably when I paid down my different information. I don't know. I'm just throwing things in here. I'm quite literally throwing things in here and just saying, look at what we can find. But I don't think this is as important, as good when you're in the middle of the game. I think this is more the kind of thing after the fact, taking a look at it. At the very least, what you've seen is how to connect and some things you might be able to do with it. If you are looking to quantify your strategies, this is definitely a great way of doing it. Everyone who's doing ERPsim now has access to this HANA information and the OData information. Take advantage of it, put it in a spreadsheet, put it in Tableau, put it in Lumira, put it in whatever it is you're using, and try to make better decisions. Be sure to check out my course website, the course website, for more information about my book.